Welcome back. Now, Femi, when I was preparing for this interview, I came across this paragraph in the allmusic.com website. And what it says is this: Femi's association with his father has been both a blessing and a curse. On the one hand, it's never been difficult for Femi to garner press or attention. And people like MCA went out of their way to push his career with considerable amounts of publicity. Yet, on the other hand, no matter his individual accomplishments, Femi will forever be known as Fela's son. Is this, do you think, an adequate description of what is going on with you, or do you not agree with this?
I don't agree with it. Forever I will be Fela's son. You want me to be Obasanjo's son? What are you saying? I don't understand what people are. You see, I think so. That's what I'm saying about journalism. When you write nonsense and you are trying to brainwash, you are not being objective. That does not make sense to me. Am I telling you Fela is not my father? Am I arguing
I guess
with
the
facts?
point. No, I guess the point of this.
He has that. What you have read to me. Yeah. To me, it makes no sense whatsoever. I am Fela's son. I don't have a problem being Fela's son. I am a proud Fela's son. I love my father. How many times do I have to explain to people, I love my father? What is any accomplishment I will make will definitely go to him. He's my father. He is the founder of Afrobeat. Likewise, Fela will always be the son of Miss Fumilayo and his father's son. No matter what Fela was doing, they always say, his father is a reverend. And the more he was going against anti-religion, they kept reminding him that, don't forget your father and even your grandfather were the people that brought Christianity to Abeokuta land. But that is his grandfather. That was his grandfather. He can't change his death. He can't change his life. I can't change the fact that Fela is my father. I love my father, but I understand I am Femi Anikulapo-Kuti.
Does it bother you that it appears in the mind of people there's always an unconscious and sometimes obvious comparison between yourself and your father?
No, because people always compare. It's like people always compare great football teams. People always compare. And you know, I will hate to even let some people to know. Some people prefer my music to my father's music. I know a lot of people that prefer my music to my father's music. I don't see the comparison. I don't look at it. I grew up with this music. I grew up with Jenkoku. Every time I even put on, today I was going, one of the radio stations was playing one of my father's songs, Black Man, Why Black Man They Suffer. And it took me down memory lane, because I remember when he released that album. I remember when we were dancing with it as kids. I remember the words and we were listening. Because he simplified the history of the African. So this music meant so much to me then, and it took me down memory lane. How can I say it's of no relevance to my life or who I am today?
So it doesn't irritate you
at all,
that every time you're being interviewed by people like me, there comes a point when we must discuss your father and his music and his legacy?
I think it's even my duty to tell as much as I can, for historical reasons, for whatever reasons people want to know more about him, and to be very honest about it. So if you ask me, was my father a good father? I would say he was a terrible, conventional father.
What is the best thing about being Fela's son?
The best thing? He gave us too much freedom.
What is the worst thing about being Fela's son?
He gave us too much freedom.
Okay, so please explain.
He gave us, you see, there was always this big row between my mother and my father. We liked to go to parties, we wanted to go to shrine. So when we tell my mother, we want to go to shrine, she will say, no, you have to go to school. So we're going to report her to my father, right? My father will write a little note, let them go. That's all. Let them go, then we sign, Fela. Then we just take the note to my mother. So we were allowed to go to any party. I was driving a car at 12. I would never let my children drive a car at 12. I was smoking cigarettes at 12. I grew up in Kalakuta, basically. What I didn't smoke marijuana till I was 17, but it was all around me. So I could have ended up being totally the wrong guy. Because of that life I've had, I am more conscious of the way I bring up my children. I don't believe any of my children will ever smoke. I don't believe they will do all the nasty things I did in my life, or I don't give them the kind of freedom my father gave me. And when I don't give them that freedom, I sit them down and let them know why they can't go to this party, or why I don't want them to do this. I don't just say, don't go. I'm a very loving father. Not that he wasn't loving. You have to understand where he was coming from. He was always in prison. He was always running from the police, or the police were always raiding Kalakuta. He had over 250 people around him all the time. And then he wanted to show the world that, look, even with my family, everybody's equal. So he will give you sweets before his kids. He will do this kind of things. I will never do that to my kids. I will give my kids the sweet before you. I don't know where you are coming from. Do you understand? So for me, family is one, very precious. I'm not criticizing the way I was brought up. Don't get me wrong.
It sounds to me as if you're saying, I'm very comfortable in my skin.
Yes.
I'm proud of the fact that I am Fela's son.
Very proud.
But I like my life, my music, and the journey that I'm on. Would that be accurate?
No, but my journey will not be complete, will be incomplete without the Fela journey. Who put me in that journey in the first place that I appreciate and love? If I didn't listen to the Jenkoku, as I can't remember, we were toddlers dancing. I remember all this dancing Jenkoku when Fela had his first song. Join, now fight, Lady, Shakara, Zombie. When we heard Zombie, and we were even as his kids, we knew this was trouble for our father. We cried the first day we saw Fela in Alagbon, and we went to visit him in Alagbon, and he was behind bars. I remember my crying. My sisters and I, the Shemus were not even born then. It was just me, my mother, 3 children, all these women around him. We arrived and we were crying as his kids. I remember going to school, just being Fela's son was already problematic. There were teachers that loved us, teachers that didn't love us, because they were pro-establishment, anti-establishment. Then you had the children that were the rich children who were against my father, then the poor children who were my father. So school was always war. So how can I not appreciate this man that is my father? How can I explain my life, Toritese, as Yoruba will say it, fully to anybody to explain how important my father is in my life? He's my father.
What is your all-time favorite Fela song and why?
No, too many. Probably I love Coffee for Head of State, because I think he was probably crying when he was writing that song. You can feel the pain in Coffee for Head of State. But I will always cherish Jenkoku, because Jenkoku, like I said, was his first hit. And I remember I was coming out of the house and everybody was playing Jenkoku everywhere you went. Bam, 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 everywhere. Everybody was Jenkoku. And I think he too was shocked. This was his first major hit in Nigeria. And this changed his life. It changed our lives. This changed everything about our destiny.